Perfect Talkers. On this episode, we talking everything America right now. You know, I'm talking about assassination attempts, the Republican National Convention, and of course, your boy Joe Biden. Is he in? Is he out? What's the deal? We got that and much, much more. It's Perfect Talk, baby. Perfect Talk is what it do. It's your guy, DJ Playboy, back with another episode of the Perfect Talk podcast. You know, I'm holding it down for y'all right here, live and direct. I'm rocking my USA colors because I love this country, and this episode is all about America. Y'all like, Plicker, why do you love this country, bro? There's so much wild stuff going on. Because here, you know what I mean, we so used to gun violence, and it might be a mass shooting here. It might be an assassination attempt here. But in another country, you would have seen somebody's brains get blown out right on live TV. And I'm not trying to go to sleep with that. So God bless America, and that's what this episode's all about. Let's get right to it. You know, we start every episode off with Plicker's Spotlight Story. We don't play around over here at the Perfect Talk podcast. If it's a big story, if it's a little story, we're going to shine some light on it either way, just so y'all know how it's going down in these streets. And this one was a big one, man. Last week I started it off like, Biden won't leave. Biden won't go. Guess what? Biden gone. He dipped out, y'all. He said, yo, my heart just ain't in it. You know, he J. Cole'd us, y'all. He told us it can't be done. He ain't feeling it no more. The battle's over. And Joe Biden has made a stunning decision to pull out of the 2024 race. The right decision. Shout out to Joe. You know what I mean? I don't even think he was a bad president if we really want to break it down and consider what he was inheriting with the pandemic, the financial crisis that we were going through in terms of inflation, and a litany of other things. Soldiers out of Afghanistan, you know what I mean? That had to be done one way, and it was going to be ugly one way or the other. Student loan forgiveness, you know what I mean? A lot of presidents came before him, and none of them was doing that. So shout out to Joe for that. But Joe, you know what I mean? I knew it was over when you was calling Zelensky Putin and calling Kamala Harris Vice President Trump.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. Over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. You can beat President Putin. President Zelensky.
It was like, whether you was good or not, the optics of it just couldn't go down like that. You know what I mean? And it happened at a NATO press conference. So it's like the whole world's watching. The fact of the matter is that the calls for Biden to get out of the race should have started way before the debate. The debate was a terrible performance, but we've seen stuff like that. I've made content off of Biden's messing up, Biden's slip-ups, literal and figurative. So to me, it definitely seemed like very late, and now they're putting themselves in an unfavorable position because with about 6 months away from the election, it looking like Kamala Harris might have to, take the reins. Now, I think Kamala's a great candidate, and I think any viable adult is better than Donald Trump just because of the chaos that he brings with him. But it's not going to be an easy battle for Kamala. You know what I mean? It's going to be an uphill road. She's a woman. She's a minority woman. And she's going against Donald Trump, who has no chill. I've already heard rumblings about Kamala Harris when she was 29 years old. She had an affair with Willie Brown. We're going to hear the name Willie Brown probably 800 times between now and November. Also, don't really give a it's not viable to anything. We were cool enough to have her in the White House as a vice president, so nothing you tell me about her now is not going to make me not want her to be in there as a president. But she also has to earn it. That's the thing with these Dems. They think certain people are just going to just link up with them. Like women are just going to team up because it's a woman candidate. Blacks are going to get down because it's a minority candidate. Asian Americans are going to get down because she has Indian and Asian heritage. And I don't think it works like that. You got to earn the vote, dog. Like people ain't just giving you the vote for nothing. What am I getting out of it? Because a lot of people just feel like, I could just stay home or I could bang with the other side. You know what I mean? So wherever you might lie, like y'all got to know, like y'all on the campaign probably harder than ever. Ain't nobody just showing up. You ain't black. If you don't know whether to vote for me or Donald Trump, you ain't black. That corny shit is out the window. Like, y'all got to earn our votes nowadays. You know what I mean? And part of that's the old rhetoric. That's the old way of thinking. That's why Joe had to get up out of here because times is up, you know what I mean, for these 80-year-old dudes. You know what I mean? But like, let's bring in the new regime with, earning our votes, telling us what you're going to do and actually delivering on it. Because we going to hold you to the fire. And you know what I mean, Kamala, you probably going to have it. You thought Obama had it rough. Kamala, they coming for your head, but I think you could do it, man. And I think, like I said, any viable adult is better than the nonsense that Donald Trump brings. So we'll see where this goes. But shout out to Joe. It took a lot of courage. It took a lot of putting your pride to the side to be able to say, you know what? I ain't the best man for this. You know what I mean? And I don't think I'm going to pull this out. I'm not as confident about this as I was a few months ago. And yo, as a man, that takes balls. Nobody just wants to quit. Nobody just wants to step out, especially when you're used to winning, especially when you're used to doing this your entire life. You like, nah, man, I'm going to hold it down. But Shout out to Joe, man. That took balls, man. The whole double dutching, whether you in, whether you out, that was getting weird, and it was making me lose a lot of confidence in the party. So y'all had to do what y'all had to do. And salute to you, Joe. You know what I mean? Serve out the rest of your term, hold it down, and pass the torch. That's what real G's would do. What it do, y'all? It's your man DJ Playboy. Just interrupting real quick, man. I really appreciate you watching this episode of the Perfect Talk Podcast. But if you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. You got to run them numbers up so I could keep running it up. Also, if you're listening to the audio version on the podcast, make sure you leave a review. Let them know how much you love the podcast and, subscribe to the thing. And if you really, really want to support the team, go to www.perfecttalkpodcast.com. Get yourself a t-shirt, get yourself a sticker. You can even get yourself a mug, man. The possibilities are endless and the prices are low. Holla at us, baby. Let's get it. And right now, we got to take it to one of my favorite segments here on the Perfect Talk Podcast, and it's called Have You Heard? Like I said, we doing this episode all about America. And what was the biggest thing happening in America this week, man? The RNC, the Republican National Convention. A couple days after your boy Trump just faced an assassination attempt. You know what I mean? They try to take your boy out. That was one of the weirdest things that have occurred that has really shown me where the state of this country's at, because I feel as if any other time in history, an assassination attempt would have been followed by like days of mourning or at least a little bit of shock in the nation. But we're at a point now, especially with gun violence here in America, where we're desensitized to that. We moved on to the next subject. The next day, we was like, oh, they tried to kill Trump. But is Biden still in the race? What's going on here? What's happening in Ukraine? You know what I'm saying? Like, did Caitlin Clark score 30 points or not? That's just how we are. We just a 24-hour news society. And we move on to the next thing. And gun violence really doesn't stop it. Like Kendrick said in Euphoria, they try to run to America to imitate heritage, but they can't imitate this violence. And we a little bit too desensitized to it. Like, this whole country saw an assassination attempt. So your man Trump catch the bloody ear. Now, maybe the optics of what happened after he got shot made people take it a little bit less serious. Like Secret Service hopping on the stage to protect you, get you off the stage. And then you like, hold on. Let me throw up this fist and let them know how I'm here. Fight. Who y'all fighting against? Who y'all fight? How y'all know the threat is over? You know what I mean? How you just know? So some of that clown activity that was happening, I think that makes people take it less serious. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? That's a political figure that someone tried to take out. That's, you know what I mean, serious enough. Whether you like Donald Trump, whether you hate Donald Trump, it's still somebody trying to take out a human being in front of a group of people with no regard for their life, no regard what's going to happen, no regard for the shooter's life, because I'm sure whatever in his mind made him think that he was going to get away with that, he wasn't thinking clearly. But the whole Republican National Party was geeked up, go to that convention and give Donald Trump a D-ride of his life like he never had. You had dudes out there taping papers to their ear because Trump walked out with the bandage on. You had people with the shirts on. 2020 was stolen. You had people doing all types of clown stuff just to see your man Trump come on stage and just tell his story. Tell us what happened, Trump. Tell us about the attempt. You know what I mean? And Trump hit us with a nice speech. Hit us with a little something from the Trump playbook. You know what I mean? He said he changed his speech up, but he ain't taking none of the lies out because fact checkers was coming for his head. One of the funniest things I saw was when he said that the ears are the bloodiest part. If something happens with the ears, they bleed more than any part of the body. Now, I just thought this was a funny fact. I didn't need a fact checker to tell me that wasn't true. It was more true than I thought it was. The ears do bleed a lot, but to say it bleeds more than any part of the body is just asking. Have you never seen somebody get shot, get hit in the head, get knocked out? You know what I'm saying? Like the ears. What is this? The fact checker said here that the ears get most of his blood from a branch of the external cardioid artery. An injury to an artery is prone to heavier bleeding. But other parts of the body might bleed more than an external injury. They don't measure this type of thing. So for Trump to even make a statement like that is asinine. But this doctor said the scalp is perhaps the most bloody part of the body if injured or cut. But in general, the head, neck is the bloodiest part of the body. And the ear, I guess, is part of that. So believe Trump if you want. But some of the other stuff he was saying about the economy, about crime being down in South American countries, but increasing here. They just were like, come on. Come on, you giving the fact checkers too much to run with here, bro. Murders are not down 70% in El Salvador. Crime is not down 72% in Venezuela. But you know what I'm going to do for the rest of the year? I'm going to see how it works for me. I'm going to just take the Donald Trump method of talking. I'm just going to say asinine, crazy statements, but I'm just going to keep talking because I think Trump realized as long as he doesn't stop his sentence, they can't interrupt him. They can't disprove what he said. So he could just say anything. You know what I mean? He could say Barack Obama's from Afghanistan, but as long as he keeps the sentence going, nobody can cut him off to tell him the truth. He could say Joe Biden died 3 weeks ago, but as long as nobody cut him off, we got to run with it. And I think Donald Trump realized that as long as I just keep the sentence going and don't give him no time to breathe or think, they might believe this shit. Another thing that happened at the RNC was Donald Trump announced his running mate, J.D. Vance. This came as a bit, and I wouldn't even call it a surprise. I think Vance was in the running along with a few other people to take this. One of the first things that they wanted to bring up as soon as he chose Vance was like, Vance, didn't you say Trump was like Hitler back in the day? Like, what happened? And it's the same thing that always happens. You know, they start the D rider for Trump and they switch their tone up real quick. Be like, he's just joking. We don't talk about that Hitler. It was another Hitler. You know, he more like that one. Not the one y'all thinking about. You know what I'm saying? So J.D. Vance definitely backtracking, and now he's on the full Trump D riding train. He's coming down the Trump slide like Hunter Biden was coming down the water slide, y'all. Butt naked. It's gonna be interesting though, because a lot of people think we're gonna see a lot of racism and sexism in this current election, especially now that Kamala Harris is the presumptive Democratic frontrunner for the presidential campaign. But J.D. Vance, he has a Indian wife as well. She's from partially the same background as Kamala Harris. So it'll be interesting to see what route he takes. He can't go with the racism and the sexism, but his party will. Another funny incident that happened was former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. He got ran up on by Matt Gaetz, same dude who started the vote to get him up out of the speaker's position. He came back to, let his ops know how he feel about him.
Are you speaking tonight? Or one person? No. Hey, you're not. If you took that stage, you would get booed off of it. You would get booed off the stage.
Yo, this is silly little kid stuff, y'all. Just shoot the 5 if y'all really feel like that. You know what I mean? You gonna run up on a man's interview? I gotta Chris Rock you at that point, dog. You know what I mean? You gotta talk to me, man. You don't know how much camera time I'm gonna get. You gonna run up on me while I'm on TV? Kevin McCarthy, I gotta see you get your get back for that, dog. Go run up on one of his interviews. You know what I'm saying? Let him know how you feel. Matt Gaetz think he running the show over there, dog. He got y'all shook. Calvin got y'all shook. What other clown stuff happened at the RNC? Oh, MSNBC, man. You know MSNBC. They always doing something funny over there, and this week was no different, man. They decided that instead of going to the RNC, instead of spending some of that big Microsoft NBC money, send somebody to the RNC, nah, we just gonna put a LED screen behind us in front like we at the RNC. Like, not even like let the audience know. No, we gonna make it look like we sitting right there, but in front of this LED screen, and and they got backlash for it because it's like, yo, why y'all ain't come through? Y'all talk a lot of stuff about us. Why y'all ain't come through? You ain't want to back it up. You know what I mean? I'm seeing a lot of gangsterness going on in politics right now. But MSNBC looking scared. They looking shook. Like, nah, we gonna stay here. We gonna stay here in New York where it's nice and safe. And we gonna promote right in front of this screen. But come on, y'all making too much money for that. Send somebody down there, get into some arguments, run up on Matt Gaetz or J.D. Vance or somebody. You know what I'm saying? But y'all gotta, come on. Whether people go out in tornadoes, you know what I'm saying? Hurricanes, snowstorms. Y'all can't go into the storm, MSNBC? What y'all scared of? Stand up, baby. Have you heard? Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom in California started a new law banning school districts from requiring parents to be notified of their child's gender identification change. So I guess there was a law in California that if a teacher knew that this child who was born male now identifies as female, or this girl who's female, this individual who's female now identifies as male, they were required to tell the parents before. And Gavin Newsom, he is banning that requirement. Now, the thing about it that's weird for me is, like, if you ban a requirement, is it now optional? Like, can the teachers be like, hey, I kind of want to tell the parents because I think they should know, or would they get in trouble for it? And I think that's a gray area that hasn't quite been defined. But before they were 100% required, and now they're not required. A lot of people get backlash to this. Actually, they are suing. A California school district is now suing Governor Newsom over the new gender identity law. The Chino Valley Unified School District and a handful of other parents have said that the law violates the rights of parents protected under the U.S. Constitution. The quote here says, school officials do not have the right to keep secrets from parents, but parents do have a constitutional right to know what their minor children are doing at school. It's tricky, y'all. I mean, kids, I'm a parent myself. Kids spend mad time at school. You know what I'm saying? Almost as much time at school and maybe their after school program as much as they do at home in an average weekday. So I don't know where I fall on this. Even if, let's take the transgenderness out of it. Let's just take, it was anything going on with your kid. As a parent, wouldn't you want to be notified if your kid was being bullied, if your kid was causing trouble, maybe your kid was the bully? So I don't really see how this is different. I feel like if my child is spending half of the day, right, and I gave birth to a boy, but during the day he's asking to be referred to as a female or a different name or that sort, I would like to know, because you know what I mean, like I think, wouldn't that be healthier for the child, for us now to have this conversation in the house, for us to, like, if he or she truly feels that they want to be identified like this, shouldn't that be a 24-hour a day thing and not 8-hour or 16-hour event? But I think it should be 24 hours rather than 8 hours of their day or 16 hours of their day where they are not expressing who they truly are. I think it gets weird when you're like, we're going to keep secrets from parents, and that's what a lot of pushback on this law is. Now, I'm not going to act ignorant. I know there's a situation where there are certain parents where you do notify them of this and they might not be for it, and it might cause a weird situation for the child. But is that the exception or the norm? Are we more so catering to that 5%, maybe 10%? Or as opposed to where 90% of parents are going to be like, oh, okay, well, this is like knowing my kid wants to be in a play. This is like knowing my kid wants to play a sport. This is like knowing my kid might have injured themselves. For all of those things, I would want to be notified about, right? There are certain states where books are banned because of the content that they're talking about in the book. I'm going to have rights over choosing what books my kid can read, but I still wouldn't know what my kid identifies as. We're in a gray area. The law was made to protect the teachers. It put the teachers in an awkward situation where they felt like they had to notify these parents and maybe violate the kid's trust. So I believe that's why the law was made up. But I think we're just getting in this weird area. And I honestly would like to know the stats on what's going on nowadays in schools nationwide. Like, are there that many kids that are choosing to be identified as a different gender or not referred to? What is statistics? If it's only like 5-10% of the time, then like, I don't know if we need to be changing laws for it. But also, what gray area does this cause for keeping other information away from parents? And that's what I kind of want to know. What precedents is it going to cause? Like, if my kid wanted to do a specific performance in school, would I not be aware of it? Would this be kept away from me? If my kid wanted to participate in a specific group in school, will this now not be told to me? And I know, like, even some of this stuff, there are parents' responsibility to be involved in their kid's life, that not teachers aren't going to notify them about it. But I also think if a parent did want to know, if a parent did come up to the school, they do have a right to know if their kid is on the football team, if their kid is in the school play, if their kid is doing as part of a performance, even if their kid isn't taking in certain information that they might be against. So I don't think that gender should be anywhere different in that. But I do know where the law comes from. I mean, we live in a society where people who are LGBTQ have been discriminated against, and we have to make as many laws as we can to protect them because of the history of this nation. However, I don't think we should be violating the laws of parents in order to protect another group of people. And that, y'all, is another episode in the books. I'm coming through just hitting y'all with all the information. Once again, shout out to America, baby. What I mean? We're going to be all right. I think we're going to figure things out in this country. And we over here at Perfect Talk Podcast are going to notify you every week on what's going on, man. That's what we do here. We holding y'all down. So please check me out on Twitter or X, whatever you call it, at DJ Playboy. Please check me out on Instagram at Plickapeezy, PLICCAPEEZY. And please follow Perfect Talk Podcast or Instagram at Perfect Talk Radio. Go check out the YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Hop in the comments. I want to know what y'all are thinking too. And of course, go to the website, www.perfecttalkpodcast.com. You can find out everything going on with DJ Playboy. Every episode of the Perfect Talk Podcast is right there. You can also get yourself a nice little mug, a t-shirt, whatever kind of merch you want to get. Grab a sticker for the crew. And yeah, y'all, we gonna keep holding it down over here at the Perfect Talk Podcast. I'm up out of here. Spread love. It's the Brooklyn way. It's your man, DJ Playboy. Peace.